Have you ever wondered what really happens when an elderly person lives alone without anyone to care for them? It's not just about loneliness, it's a series of silent risks that build up every single day. A slip and fall that no one sees, a missed meal, a sudden chest pain in the middle of the night with no one around. Sometimes, silence is more frightening than noise. If you're living alone, or if you have elderly parents or loved ones in that situation, then this video is for you. We'll share 5 important ways seniors can live alone while staying safe, independent, and more at ease each day. Hit subscribe and stay with us until the end of the video so you don't miss the solutions that could change your life or the life of someone you love. There's something strange that many people don't realize until they live alone. The silence in your home can echo like an alarm bell. Not because of loneliness, but because there's no one around to notice the small changes, a paler complexion, a slightly weaker voice, or even heavier breathing than usual. And if no one sees it, the only person who might hear it is you. But this isn't a fearful warning. On the contrary, it's an invitation to become your own greatest ally. Checking in on your health doesn't require expensive medical equipment or a complex medical background. It starts simply by learning how to pay attention to yourself. Do you feel unusually tired when you wake up in the morning? Do you feel dizzy when standing up from the sofa? Are your hands shakier than usual when pouring tea or writing? These seemingly small details are often the very first signals your body is trying to send you. But if you ignore them or chalk them up to just old age, you might miss something important. Here's the truth. Older adults who live alone and stay healthy tend to have one thing in common. They understand their bodies like an old journal. They track their weight, heart rate, sleep, and even mood each day. Not because they fear something bad will happen, but because they want to stay ahead of it. They don't let a small symptom turn into a medical crisis. You can start simply by jotting down 3 things. How you feel in the morning, anything unusual that happened that day, and anything that made you worried. Each week look back. What you record might help your doctor make a more accurate and earlier diagnosis. And sometimes, you might be the one to notice something wrong before any machine can. Pay special attention to changes in sleep, digestion, memory, and mood. Small shifts in these areas can be early signs of things worth checking further, from vitamin deficiencies and abnormal blood pressure to subtle neurological changes many people overlook. Remember, there's no such thing as a small matter when it comes to your health. And if you find it hard to keep track of everything on your own, today, there are many helpful tools, from free health tracking apps on your phone to simple, user-friendly blood pressure monitors at home. Just a few minutes each morning to check your pulse, your blood pressure, or even just sit quietly and assess how you feel can be the strongest mental vaccine to help you navigate the years ahead safely. And you know what? The amazing thing is, self-checks don't make you feel weak. They make you feel empowered. You're no longer passively waiting for something to happen. You're standing in the role of the most alert observer, the most loyal companion to yourself. That doesn't just extend your lifespan, it deepens the quality of your life every day. If you're watching this video and realize you've never truly listened to your body each morning, start tomorrow. A small piece of paper, a short note, or just a gentle question to yourself, how am I feeling today? That's the first step in a journey of living with awareness and kindness toward yourself. If you found this helpful, leave the number 3 in the comments below. That lets me know you're here, you're learning, and you're on the right path. Don't forget to hit subscribe and turn on notifications, because the next parts of this video will offer even more value, especially if you or a loved one is living alone after 60. We're not just talking about living longer. We're learning how to live better, one day at a time. Emotional anchor, reconnecting with life. Imagine standing in a room filled with noise, laughter, clinking dishes, lively conversations, and then, suddenly, it all goes quiet. Not because you've left the room, but because no one is looking your way anymore. No one calls your name, no one asks a simple question like, how are you feeling today? That silence doesn't come from the outside, but from deep within, where a person begins to feel they no longer exist in the world of others. The truth is, for many older adults living alone, the feeling of being unseen, invisible, is not just a passing emotion. It is a quiet but sharp reality. And when that feeling lasts long enough, It begins to steal away the most precious things: joy, dignity, and even the sense of purpose. Yet, the beautiful thing is that feeling connected, cared for, even through the smallest act, can become a powerful emotional anchor. It could be a weekly landline phone call, a simple text saying, "I miss you, Grandpa," from a distant grandchild, or attending a local library's book reading. What matters is not the size of the connection, but the consistency and sincerity of it. A good way to start is by identifying 3 simple things you can do each week to maintain connection. Maybe it's writing a letter to an old friend, inviting a neighbor over for tea, or signing up for an online Zoom class for seniors. Each small action is a string, and when you tie enough of them together, you create an anchor that keeps your spirit rooted in reality, in the life that still exists beyond 4 walls. Take the story of Mr. Lamb, a 79-year-old man who lived in total isolation after his wife passed away. His children had settled abroad, and his neighbors barely spoke. For a whole year, he rarely left his house. But then, one day, he decided to join the local chess club. At first, he just sat quietly. No one even remembered his name. But in the second week, he brought his own chess set. By the third week, someone asked, "Want to play a match, Mr. Lamb?" 3 months later, he was the first to arrive and the one who stayed to clean up afterward. It wasn't the chess that made him feel young again. It was the feeling that someone was waiting for him, that someone remembered his name. If you live alone, remember that you don't need someone caring for you daily to feel loved. You just need a few real connections, ones that make you feel like you still matter in this world. And if you're a loved one of an older person living alone, a parent, an aunt, an uncle, remember, you don't need to do something grand. A text, a short call, a regular check-in can be the anchor that keeps them from drifting too far into isolation. Don't underestimate the power of ritual either, symbolic actions done regularly. For example, every Monday, send them a family photo with a short message, wishing you a great week. Every Sunday night, watch a TV show together and share thoughts via text. These simple habits help pull seniors back into the rhythm of community life, even if it's through technology. Technology, in fact, is not a barrier, it's a bridge, if you choose to use it wisely. There are many online support groups dedicated to seniors, where they can share experiences, learn, and make friends. There are even weekly video call programs for elderly people without nearby family. All it takes is one small step, and hundreds of doors can open. And finally, never forget that the strongest emotional anchor always comes from within. It is the belief that you still have value, even after retirement, even if you live alone, even if no one visited you today. That value doesn't come from how many people care about you. It comes from how you care for yourself. Write a journal each day. Say to yourself, "I am still here. I can still create meaning." When you live with that kind of self-respect, you radiate an energy that makes others want to connect with you. And sometimes, that is all it takes to soothe even the deepest loneliness. 6th, a prepared mindset and a quiet safety net for independent living after 70. Living alone after 70 doesn't mean being lonely, weak, or forgotten. On the contrary, it can be one of the most empowering chapters of your life, a time when you choose to live deliberately, wisely, and with dignity. But to truly enjoy that freedom, you must prepare like someone wise, not with fear, but with a system of small, steady steps to protect yourself against the unexpected. Imagine living in a quiet house, where everything is familiar. You make tea every morning, listen to your favorite music in the afternoon, and read before bed. But one slip in the bathroom, a dizzy spell in the middle of the night, or a power outage in winter could upend your peaceful world, if you're not ready. Preparation isn't about living in fear, it's about living with real peace of mind. It's the power that comes from control, knowing you have a plan, someone to call, and a way through. Start with what seems the simplest, preventing falls. For the young, a stumble is a minor, clumsy moment. But for an older adult, it could mean a fractured hip, hours of immobility, or the loss of self-care ability. Turn your home into a safe haven with non-slip mats, motion sensor night lights, grab bars near the toilet and shower, and arrange furniture so you can move around without obstacles. Next is a step many delay due to pride, but in reality, it's a wise choice: using a personal medical alert device. A wristband or pendant that looks like a watch and can detect a fall and automatically call for help isn't a sign of weakness, it's a sign of self-respect. You know you deserve to be protected. And if you're thinking, I already have a phone, what more do I need? Remember, in an emergency, you may not be clear-headed enough to dial. An automatic system is the helping hand that catches you when life throws you off balance. It doesn't take away your independence, it helps you keep it. Also, never underestimate the power of a printed emergency contact list. Keep it somewhere visible, like on your refrigerator, with names, phone numbers, medications you're taking, allergies if any, and your doctor's info. In times when you can't speak, that piece of paper speaks for you. Sometimes it can save your life. A supply of water and non-perishable food for a few days is essential, not because you're preparing for the apocalypse, but because you might just be unwell, or there's a snowstorm outside that prevents you from going out. A flashlight, spare batteries, a power bank, all packed into a small emergency bag, give you the peace of mind that no matter what happens, you're not completely alone. But beyond any device or item, people remain the strongest safety system. A trustworthy neighbor, a friend who checks on you every weekend, or just someone you have an unspoken agreement with. If I don't open the door or call back in 2 days, please check on me. These are the small links that form your safety net. You don't need to rely heavily on anyone. You just need a quiet arrangement. And ultimately, more important than any object is your mindset. It's the inner voice that says, I'm not helpless. I have a plan. I've thought this through. I can live alone, but I am not alone. When you possess that calm, you don't just live, you live boldly, intentionally, and with resilience. This isn't a call to prevent every accident, it's a realistic and hopeful perspective. Living alone after 70 isn't the end of vitality. It's the beginning of a slower, deeper, and more meaningful phase, where you build a life immune system through preparation, connection, and confidence. If you've read this far, I want to congratulate you. Because you haven't ignored the truth, you've looked it straight in the eye with an open heart. You deserve to live not just to survive, but to savor each day with peace and dignity. And if you found this helpful, leave a comment with the number 6 to let me know you're still here, still strong, and still choosing to live wisely.